Okay, hello friends, it is Kelly and I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I decided my scraps are accumulating at a very rapid rate and I decided to get them used. I really don't feel like I want a scrapbook today, but I know I want to do something crafty and something scrapbook related. So I'm going to go through my scraps and put together some base pages. And if you don't know what base pages are, I'm going to just show you some that I have made in the past with just using my scrap bin. And here's one. And it's almost a layout. Like once I get started, I start feeling inspired and I'll add more stuff. But you can literally just put paper on a background and put it to the side. And this just makes it ready. So when I do have photos that I'm ready to scrap, that I'll just put them on the page. And here you'll see I went a little extra and I even put mats down for this one. And that's probably because I had these scraps in my scrap bin and just decided to make use of them. So there's one. This is one, I did this after watching one of Janet's videos of using like the cut-aparts, and I put this one together. And it's just kind of in a grid fashion, and I just used some cut-aparts that had been laying around for a long time, and I got them put down on a base page. So whenever I get ready to go on Scrapbook, I can just stick a couple of photos down, add some journaling and maybe a few embellishments, and I'm done with this page. Quick and easy. Here's one. And on this one, I even added my photo mats. So whenever I get ready to scrapbook, or whenever I find pages or pictures that I want to use for this page, I just can stick it down and again, add a title, add journaling, add embellishments, and then I'm done. And I got these out of my scrap bin and put to good use. And this one is super cool. I love it. I just added stitching to all these paper strips. I think that's a really neat design. That actually makes me want to get some pictures out and scrapbook. And I will, after I do this today, after I just show you my process of putting some base pages together, I will work on some completed ones here in the near future just to show you how I finish a complete layout using just base pages. And then there's this one, which I could use it this way, and I went ahead and went the extra step and even added my stitching around the edges on this border. So you could go that way, you could go this way and just add photos, a title, and some embellishments. So that is just a few that I have made in the past. Now, let me talk about my process of scraps, or how I store scraps. Oh, a second. This doesn't look like that much right now. These are just scraps from layouts that I've done fairly recently, like in the last couple of weeks. So as you can see, there is quite a few. There's some cut-aparts in here. So this is just my raw scraps. I haven't trimmed them or done anything really with them. Once I finish a layout, I just throw them in this basket until, if I don't use them on a base page or on another layout, I will store them. And this is my solution, my scrap storage solution at the moment. It changes quite frequently. This is the latest. So what I've done is I've used one of these, I think We Are Memory Keepers or Hopper or one of those, I can't remember, one of these page holders that's 12 by 12. I actually had ordered a bunch of these and I don't like them because they don't stand up straight on my shelves. So I gave some of them away, but I kept a few of them for things like this that I can just keep in my closet that I don't have to look at on. I'm a little bit OCD sometimes, and I don't like the look of this on my shelves. They flop over if there's not a lot of paper in there, and I never cared for them that much. So anyway, so what I've done is I just added labels to the top of these, and I sort my scraps by color. So you can see I have them in a rainbow order that makes sense to me. So pink, coral, red, orange, yellow, green, aqua, blue and purple. Blue and purple. Neutrals, so that would be like blacks, whites, creams, what am I trying to say? Cards, different types of maybe gray. What is this? Oh, I even have like chipboard in there. Craft, that's the word I was looking for. And then I have my multicolored tab. And so this is where I would start if I wanted to start pulling from this to start creating base pages. I would start here, find an inspiration piece. For instance, for example, I might start with this piece of paper, and I would pull out papers in the rest of my rainbow order that match this. So I might pull out a red, I might pull out a pink, an aqua, a yellow, another blue, anything that would match and coordinate with this sheet of paper. So let me go ahead and do that. Since I have this out, let's see what might match. That's kind of a bright pink. So I'm looking right now in my pinks. And I meant to mention, I can pull this whole thing out. I should have shown you that. That makes this a lot more useful because it's hard to flip through all those papers and find what you need. So this whole thing can come out. And what this was is, you know those envelopes that they sell, the plastic envelopes they sell that have like either the clip, or what do you call that? It attaches right here, or they have the string that wraps around. I just cut those off because I have a quadrillion of these, like a quadrillion. And I just cut the top of the envelope part off and stapled my little tab there. So I was trying not to spend more money and making use of what I already had plenty of. So it was worked out for me so far. So let's see what all I have in here. And whenever I sort papers like this, to you might be like, you should have put that with multi. But if I'm going to use this paper, it's probably going to end up being with pink. So that's why I put it with the pink folder, because to me, when I see this, I see pink. That's just how my brain works. You do it how you see fit, but that's kind of how I saw this. See, and those actually might go together. That pink works. Let's see. And there's another big old cut apart. And this had been in my stash for the longest time. I know that is a great big piece of scrap, but I wasn't using it and it had this punched out. So I just thought, I'm just gonna stick that in with my scraps because it's not been used yet. So let's see. Maybe I'll just put it with it just in case. All right, so, no, that doesn't go. And as you can see, I don't have a ton of scraps because I try to use them pretty frequently, and I pull it, like whenever I'm creating a layout, if I need something, I will come into my scraps first and find something that works most of the time. Stick that with it. I don't know about this one. Feeling like that doesn't, I'm not loving that. I'm not gonna put it there. Yeah, I like that. Nope. So that will be all for my pink. And that's quite a lot. Quite a lot of scraps for one page, but I'm gonna go with it. And let's see what else. That away. Maybe yellow. And I know I don't have a lot of yellow. Let's see what I've got. That's pretty. So maybe that yellow. That could almost be my background, but not quite. I might just go with that one. Okay. Yellow and maybe, what else? I don't know. That might be enough. That might be enough. I don't know. Do I want any red? No, because I really don't have much red. I have that, and I don't really. I don't really love that, so we're not going to go with that. Let's see about blue. Something else with the blue. If you notice, I'm in a different spot. And the reason for that is I'm tired of sitting. I'm at my stand-up desk, so the lighting's a little different and I can see shadows happening because I don't have my two lights that are pointing in. I just have a window over there and then a standing light, a light stand right here, or a lamp. Hello. It's called a lamp. I have a lamp right here, but it's casting shadow, so I hope that's not too awfully distracting. But it was time to stand up for a little while. All right. Well, I'm not seeing anything in here that I love. No. So you kind of get the idea. This is how I will go through the colors that coordinate and pull things to match. And this was my inspiration piece right here, this scrap. So I'm gonna turn the camera off and we'll probably start doing a voiceover from here on out. Just so you kind of got the idea of how I pull my scraps, how I store my scraps. Now you're gonna see me work through the process of creating base layouts. So I hope this was a little bit informative and helpful. And I will be right back. Okay, I jumped right into this layout. I'm gonna be doing 6 base pages, so I've sped the process up quite a bit just because otherwise this would have been a super long video. It's still about 27 minutes long, so feel free to fast forward if you would like to, because I'm just, like I said, just using my scraps to build base pages. And here, the ones that I showed you that I pulled together, I'm going to use that, and I'm actually going to end up creating 2 base pages with those scraps because I had pulled so many out and I just wanted to get them used up. So, and since I already knew that they all coordinated together, there's really no reason to stick them back in my scrap bin. Might as well get them on a page and used. So, and you don't have to put, like I put that pink grid paper as like a mat. You don't have to do that. I could have just left it with that pink paper off. That way I have a little more option whenever I come to want to use this as an actual layout. So here I am with the same scraps, creating a completely different kind of base page where my photos are going to be centered right there in the middle of the page. And I still had scraps that I wanted to get used up. And so I'm going to create a header and a footer eventually, because I'm going to mess around with these until I can make a decision. So I'm going to create a header and footer. And what you'll notice a lot that I do for pages like this is I will just half my paper. So I will cut them in half, and whatever I do on one side or either at the top or the bottom, I will repeat that at the bottom. And that just helps me create a pretty balanced layout. You'll notice if you watch that I do that a lot. So I'm going to do that again here. So I'm going to cut that pink grid paper, and I'm going to use half there on the bottom and then half on the top. So here comes the next one. So far I've created 2 base pages. This is number 3. And this is actually on a different day, so the video does look a little bit different. So I use that branding strip, and I just cut it in half. I mean, there's that hole in the middle, so I just cut it in half. And whenever I go to create an actual layout of this with this base, I might stick some kind of embellishment or something where those seams meet. But really, it's not even that noticeable. So I may and I may not. That seam doesn't really bother me there. And here is another example of me cutting the paper in half and just repeating on either side. But in this case, I'm repeating on either side of this photo cluster or photo mat cluster. That adhesive I'm using is temporary because I'm not sure where if that journaling will stay there, that little journaling card that says due date. So if I'm not positive that I want something to stay somewhere, I will use temporary adhesive. And this is number 3. And I'm just showing you a photo on top of that stack so you could kind of get a visual of what it will look like with a picture. Okay, here I'm moving on to base layout 4, and I'm just playing with my scraps until I kind of get an idea of what I want to do. And I really try not to overthink this. I try to just get things stuck down, which sometimes is good. And sometimes, like in this instance, I'm going to end up pulling up those pink strips in a minute because they're keeping me from layering like I would like to do. So you'll see that happen quite a bit when I'm creating these base pages, because sometimes you're not sure how you want it to look. So you just kind of start sticking things down and then you end up having to pull things up because it doesn't work, which is fine. The worst that can happen is this doesn't work out, and what have I lost? Some scraps and a little bit of time. So I don't stress about it. It's just paper. That's what I tell myself. It's just paper. And it's actually just paper from my scrap bin. So if I end up not liking it, I can just toss it, and it's not that big of a loss, in my opinion. So this, I kind of went with a little bit of a monochromatic with the teal, but I wanted some pops of color, and I had that scrap of really pretty pink polka dot pattern paper. So I stuck that in there just for a little bit of contrast, and I really like how that looks. I'm trying to use some of those cut aparts, which they end up not working. Here I'm going to cut that little branding strip in half and use it up too. And I really like how this one looks. I actually like how they all look, but this was one of my favorites. This one that I'm working on next, this is from a layout these were from a 6x6 paper pad, and these were just my offcuts from that layout. So I'm just going to arrange them across the page in kind of a wonky fashion. If I had to say that one of these was not my favorite, this would probably be the one that I don't like the most, but I'm still going to keep it and try to use it. But out of all the ones that I created, I think this is probably my least favorite, just because I don't know what it is. There's something about the line that, I don't know, something about this that I just didn't like. And I messed with it quite a bit until eventually I just was like, okay, just put it to the side. And maybe once I get a picture on here and get some embellishments, I will like this one a little better. So I'm just showing you some options. I could have put 2 3x4s or a 4x6 there and add a title and some embellishments. And once I do all that, I probably will like this a whole lot better. And I've also probably will end up adding some stitches across those, and maybe that I will like that one better too. So I pulled out some more scraps from my scrap file that I showed you at the beginning. And I'm going to get these used up on this page. And once I pull these scraps out, I want to try and use as much as I can, because I don't want to just throw them back, to have to file them again. And I want to get them used. So I try to use as much of the paper as I possibly can. And the ones that I don't, if they're super small scraps, I'll just chunk them in the trash. But if there's pretty large usable pieces, I will keep those and just file them back into my scrap file. And as you can see here, I told myself I'm not using the T-ruler. I'm not going to get precious about this. I just want to get them on a page, and it does not have to be perfect, which is why I like the whole layering and layering and layering, because it does not have to be perfect. It actually looks better when it's kind of wonky and off kilter. So what I did here is that star paper, I used that as my inspiration piece, and I pulled from my rainbow file, I pulled all the colors that I felt like matched. And this, I wanted more of a masculine or a boy themed layout or base, because most of the layouts I've done are a little bit feminine, or most of the base pages I've created have been a little bit feminine. And then this one has a little bit more of a masculine feel that I could use for my grandsons, or my son, or my husband. I feel like any picture of any of those guys would work. So that, I'm showing you the picture of my son again and his girlfriend, just to kind of see how it will look on this photo mat stack. And another thing that I always do, you see me, I like to distress the edges and give them a little bit of lift. So that is my last base page that I made with these scraps. And I'm going to show you here at the end just some, I want to show you the finished product of all the base pages I created. Which one was your favorite? If you've liked one of these in particular, let me know which one, and I will do a complete layout with the one that you guys choose that you like the most or would like to see me complete. So anyway, have a wonderful day. Appreciate you watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload my next video. Thank you and have a great day.